Okay, so when doing electron configuration, what's really important is to make sure that you start at the far left at the very top, work across every row before you move on to the next one. So the first orbital we're given is orbital S, which affects the first and the second element in every row. In our very first row, we only have 2 elements, and so they'll go into the both of them will go into the S orbital. There'll be 1, which is the row number, S, because it's involving the first 2 elements, so it'll be 1s2. Now, if we move into the second row is 2, so we're going to name it 2. Now we're talking about the first 2 elements in that row, so that'll be 2s. There's 2 of them, so 2s2. Then, since we're still in the second row, we now need to involve a new orbital because we have more than 2 elements in that row. So the first 2 is our little P section, or sorry, our little S section, and then this section is the little P section. So we have 2s2, 2 because we're in row 2, P because we're in our P section, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be 2p6. Next, we have our third row. So you guessed it, this is going to be 3. This will be S because it involves the first 2 elements within that row. So 3s, and we have 2. 1, 2. So 3s2. And then with me, we say 3 because it's in row 3. This is the P group, so 3p, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3p6. Next, we're into our fourth row. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So the reason why we have the naming system we have with those orbitals is because of the amount of energy that they have in them. So as we get to fourth row, the first 2 elements, that's 4, S, 2. We got 2. Now, remember, our P section is over here, so we can't use the P letter or the P orbital to describe these middle elements. So actually, we have a D orbital, and D actually starts at level 3. So S started at 1, P started at 2, and D, even though it's down here, starts at 3. And that helps us because F, which is way down here, starts at 4. So, we have 4, S, 2, 3, because we're just going to assume it's up here, 3, D, 10, 4, P, 6. So yes, these are on the same level as the S one, so we're going to go back to 4 when we talk about these, 4, P, 6. Next, we have 5. Now, remember, we're trying to get to gold, which is AU, and it's down here. So we'll get there in just a moment. We're going to practice a little more. So we got 5, S2, 4, D10, and then 5, P6. Now, we're about to hit the trickiest part in all of this. So I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to correct myself in a minute. So listen closely. We're going to start with 6, because that's the row we're on. 6s2, because we have 2 of them. We're going to drop down. We see it says go to 57 to 71. So we're going there. And that will be 4f14. And then we're going back up and saying 5d 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're at 5d9, right? But this is one of those really weird cases that since it is so close to having that filled level and that filled orbital, that you know what? It's more important to have that D orbital filled than it is to have the S orbital filled. And they're so close, so it's just going to steal that electron from barium and from the S orbital. Remember, the first 2 is S. So it's going to steal that electron from the S orbital and move it into the D orbital. So this will actually be 5D10, 6S1, because you always leave whichever orbital has that is incomplete, because everyone before it should be complete. So whatever orbital is incomplete, you write it last. So after we did that previous row, which was 5S2, 4D10, 5P6, since we know now that we're going to have to take one over here, we're actually going to say 4, we're going to start up here, 4F14, 5D10, because we're stealing one from over here, 5D10, and then 6S1. I hope that clarifies all your questions.